fucking make sense to me now. All this time people been telling me Tom Shepard is so fuck you going, man. We having a family moment. Fuck you going, man. We having a family moment.
The form of this letter is a face with two eyes at the top. In fact, the word ayin means eye. Hence, the song of this letter is sight and the ability to interpret what we see, which is insight. So,
fuck you going, man. We having a family moment. Fuck you going, man. We having a family moment.
Sight and insight. You know, when we say, I see what you mean, when we say we see something in that way, oh, I see what you're saying, we mean more than simply observing something, an object or something. The phrase is synonymous with I understand, I comprehend what you're saying. We have insight. Now, I wonder if you've heard of the good eye and the evil eye of the Middle East. Years ago, it's an ancient saying. They used to speak about, I don't know if they still do, but I think they do. They talk about the good eye and the evil eye. I don't know if you know about this, but it's worth looking into with regard to this letter. When the ancients spoke about a good eye, if you had a good eye, you were somebody who was generous and had a benign nature, and your benign nature gave you insight. However, if, by contrast, you had an evil eye, you were mean, distrustful, and your understanding, not only of people, but of life in general, your understanding, your insight was darkened. You lacked insight.
So right now we're going to read Zechariah chapter 13, 7 through 9. The shepherd struck, the sheep scattered. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is my companion, declares the Lord of hosts. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered, as we've seen in the clip above the rim. And I will turn my hand against the little ones in all the land, declares the Most High. 2/3 will be cut off and perish, because in order to heal, you have to get rid of the ones who will not act right or get in accordance, okay? We are a holy people according to the scriptures, you know, in our lowest state, as we are in right now, through the immorality and through the Luciferian and different agendas promoted against our people. We're in a lowest state. And, you know, 2/3 of our people have to go. In order to heal, you have to get rid of the dead weight, in a sense. So either you get reformed or you get removed. And that's divine intervention. Well, what do you mean by the dead weight? Well, when I mean the dead weight, I mean, we have to stop glorifying the criminality in the so-called black community. We have to get rid of this snitching and all this other nonsense that other nations or sea lions look at us like we're fools. You know, a lot of our problems exist within. I'm not saying that there's not hints and taste of racism, but we have to do better. And that starts within. So we have to get rid of the criminality. We have to get rid of the hood, and all this other stuff glorifying, degeneracy. Now, don't get me wrong. There are good people in certain areas and situations, but at the end of the day, you cannot save shit. Shit is meant to be flushed down the toilet. It's not meant to be salvaged. So we have to come out of that state of being and excel. But a third will be left in it. This third I will bring through the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people. And they will say, the Lord, or the Most High, is our God. So now we're going to get the context of Zechariah chapter 13, 7 through 9. For the smiting of the good shepherd, Israel is punished, passes through much tribulation, by which it is redefined, and in the end, through reduced to a mere remnant, is saved. Verse 7, awake, O sword. Zechariah proceeds to show the course of the purification of the people. The mention of the false prophet and the shameful wounds in his flesh leads him to the contrast of the true prophet and the effects of his piercing. The abruptness of his commencement of the verse is dramatic and gives no significant cause for supposing that this paragraph ought to be transferred to the end of chapter 11. It is introduced here to show that all that happened to the shepherd was done after the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God, or the Most High, and as if the sword could never have dared to act thus except it were permitted by the divine will. The sword represents any kind of instrument that inflicts death. Exodus 5:21, 2 Samuel 12:9, and Isaiah 27:1. My shepherd, the shepherd of the Most High, who is speaking, he is a good shepherd, the representative of the Most High mentioned in Zechariah 11:4, etc. The Hamashiach, or Messiah, who is identified with the Most High in Zechariah 12:10. The subjutant, my shepherds, as if no particular person was indicated, but rather all the leaders of the people of the Most High. But the next clause seems to render the reference definite. The man that is my fellow, the word rendered man means rather mighty man. That rendered fellow occurs often in Leviticus, but nowhere else. Leviticus 5:21, 6:2, 19:11, 15, 17, etc., and is usually translated neighbor. It implies one unit to another by the possession of common nature, rights, and privileges. The Most High God could speak only of one thus associated with himself, that is, of him who could say, I and my Father are one, John 10-30. Now, this is quite interesting. Let me read that again. The Most High could speak only of one thus associated with himself. So now we're going to get some context of that. So we go to Psalms 147:19-20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, the bloodline descendants. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So now we're at Psalms 148:14. Who are the saints? He also exalted the horn, which means rulership. We have to establish a rulership mentality, because right now we're in a low estate. We don't know how to lead. A lot of our people are so concerned with equality. We want to be equal with the so-called white man or Caucasian, when our history tells us we are the head, not the tail. But in this captivity, we are the tail of society. We are the minstrels, the entertainers, the rappers, the sports entertainers, and so forth. And they don't look at us as rulers, only entertainers, minstrels. because of all the different Marxists and all the different agendas set up against the people, the nation of Israel. Picking back up, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Most High. Now we're at Psalms chapter 50, 5 through 6. Gather my saints together unto me, which are the Israelites, those who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, and the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for the Most High is judge himself. Salah. So picking back up, that the shepherd is Messiah or Mashiach is proved by Christ's application of the following clause to himself, Matthew 26 and 31. Smite the shepherd and the sheep shall be scattered. When Christ was apprehended, all the disciples forsook him and fled, Matthew 26 and 56. And what they did was done by others. Even the faithful few were scandalized at the cross. The command, smite the shepherd, like the apostrophe, awake, O sword, shows that it was the Most High's purpose that was being there executed. See John 19:11, Acts 2 and 23. It is also thus intimated that the dispersion of the Jews/Israelites, I repeat, the dispersion of the Jews or Israelites and their denationalizing were results of this rejection and smiting of the shepherd. This dispersion is further explained in verses 8 and 9, where it is shown that to some it will be ruin, to others salvation. So now we're going to look up salvation, the general non-religious sense of protection or preservation from destruction, danger, calamity, etc. So we understand that the 3 tribes that were in the land, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, were fighting against the Roman colonialism and Herodian dynasties and families, the set of Pharisees, and so forth. I will turn my hand. To turn or bring back the hand over is used in a good and bad sense. Isaiah 1 and 25 and Amos 1 and 8. There is a promise of comfort in the use of the phrase here. The Most High's hand shall cover and protect some, while he punishes the others. Those thus protected are called the little ones, the humble and meek. This recalls Mashiach's words to his disciples, fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, which means he was trying to take back sovereignty, land, possession. So-called Negroes don't even know their flag, don't even know their heritage. We've been miseducated by the government full public system.